About the present tense verb conjugation, and basically when we're talking about conjugation as a definition, it's basically identifying the subject. That's the main idea of conjugation, and it's essential to language because without verbs we can't communicate action, we can't communicate the emphasis of a sentence. There are three main categories of verbs. There are AR verbs, ER verbs, and IR verbs. Essentially all that means is the very end of the verb is going to end with an AR, ER, or IR verb, and we'll talk about that more in just a second. The next thing, as an overview, what we'll talk about today is steps to conjugation, and a quick way that I remember this is the 3S2C formula, and all that means is the 3 steps to conjugation, such as slash the verb ending, write the stem, there's a next S, and then copy and paste the verb ending. So the 3S2C formula, 3 steps to conjugation is the idea behind that. It's just a quick way to remember the steps to be able to conjugate. The next thing to talk about is subject pronouns, number 4 right here. This is essential to be able to know how to conjugate a verb, and we'll talk about that momentarily as well. So the AR, ER, and IR verbs have essentially 5 main verb endings. There's a O, as, a, amos, and an, O, S, E, emos, en, and lastly O, S, E, emos, and en, en. The only difference between an ER verb and an IR verb is the first person plural emos and the first person plural emos. Basically that's it. That's the only main difference behind those. We'll practice this in just a second, which that's where you'll get your main idea of what it is that we're talking about. So as we continue on down here, again, conjugation is identifying the subject and is slashing the verb ending, writing the stem, which is what's left over after you slash the verb, and thirdly, copy and paste the verb ending. In the subject pronoun, when we're talking about that in grammar, it's basically just identifying the person we're talking about. That's the main idea of a subject pronoun. In English, it would be I, you, he, she, it, and this is a singular side over on the left. And then starting over on the right, we have we, you all, if you're in the South, y'all, and then the third plural would be they. So if you practice this with me, say the subject pronouns, we have yo, tú, él, ella, usted. Anytime we have 2 L's, it comes together to make a Y sound. Ella, such as pollo for chicken. The first plural over here we have nosotros. A way that I remember this is no, so, tros. And then third, the last is ellos, ellas, and ustedes. The main thing with the second plural, the country of Spain is basically the only country that uses the second plural. It can get a little more complicated, and just as beginning Spanish, you really don't want to delve into the second plural until you have to. You can communicate fine with just these right here. If you want to speak with a y'all form, such as English, we will be using the ustedes form. That's how you communicate with the y'all form right there. And usted does not mean it. Usted just is a formal way of communicating, such as sir or ma'am. Hopefully you're understanding that. We're going to continue on with the lesson, and basically we're going to look at how this happens. We see the AR verb ending, slash, stem, and copy paste the verb ending. So basically the verb hablar is in the infinitive form. The only thing you need to understand about the infinitive form just means a verb in its original form. That's the best way I can describe that to you, that an infinitive is a verb in its original form. And as I said, there's 3 types of verbs, AR, ER, and IR. Of course, hablar here would be an AR verb, which means to talk. So it's an AR verb, so we're going to use the AR verb endings. It's like a huge puzzle, a huge matching game with Spanish. And then essentially what we do is, if I were to have hablar right here, the first thing I do is slash verb ending. Step 1, write the stem, what's left over, H-A-B-L, and then I just take this, copy, paste, and then I have hablo, I speak, or I talk. And then that's the 3 steps. Again, I'll show you right here. If you have hablar right here, to talk, take the AR off, you're left with a stem, and then you only have one more step, which is to copy and paste the verb ending, hablas, hablo, hablas, habla, hablamos, hablan. So if I were to say we talk a lot, there's more than one person, so it would be on the plural side, and we would say hablamos mucho. Very simple. We talk a lot. Hablamos mucho. Or they talk a lot. Hablan mucho. It's really not as difficult as it seems. Once you memorize the verb endings and you understand the formula of how to conjugate, and it's a very simple process. Again, this is a basic lesson in conjugation, and I hope this helps, and there will be more to come. If you have any questions, be free to contact me via email. Thank you very much.